to eliminate entirely victims. There are no victims. You may be a victim of bad judgment, but you're not a victim of the government taking money from you and giving it to somebody else and wasting it. You know, I have a bumper sticker in my office on on my desk there that is rather popular. It says, "Don't steal. The government hates the competition." Some people worry that our numbers aren't great enough, that we don't have 51% of the population behind us. But ideas only need to be led by 5 to 10% of the people. They can bring about a revolution. Yeah. And today... statistic that shows that our numbers are much greater than that, even in the base of the Republican Party. Just think how strong they are throughout the whole country. The one thing I would wish those individuals who are not here tonight, because I know you understand it, and that is the counterfeit offers from others who say that we will take care of you, we will bring about change, and we are the peace candidate, and we will rally the young people. Those are counterfeit, because when you look at the description of what they're talking about, it's just more of the same. And I think you can sense that. You can know the difference. What we have when we have a free society, we reject the idea of people being leeches and looters and plunderers. We don't need them. We need self-reliance, self-respect, and taking care of ourselves. That is what makes the nation move. I have been asked these last several days, quite frequently, what am I doing this for? What's the purpose of all this? And in many ways, it is to send a message. There is no doubt about it. And I have advocated that the message is very, very important. And I've also encouraged it to be non-confrontational in the things that will be disruptive and doing things that doesn't really achieve anything in a paint and bad light. But there is no doubt, philosophically, that the message has to be sent. Now, yes, many of us are working in the Republican Party. I've worked in the Republican Party. But this is much bigger than the Republican Party. Yes! So I encourage people, if they want to work in the Republican Party, and the Campaign for Liberty certainly will be, to have an influence. But we need to send the message. It's a philosophic message. But in a true revolution, believe me, the revolution doesn't occur with a single political party. Yeah. A true revolution, then those views will be reflected in the Republican Party, in the Democrat Party, in the Independent Party, and everybody in the country will be affected. One subject that comes up not too infrequently, more these days than ever before, and that is, and it was hinted at today with some of the speakers, you know, when do we get so dissatisfied with our current operation of trying to bring about change? And some are already very dissatisfied. Some even that believe the way we do are frustrated with the slowness of what we do, and they want to do things in a much more aggressive manner. But I think there is a time and place for that. But there is a time and place, I think, for peaceful civil disobedience. The changes brought about by Gandhi and Martin Luther King were peaceful, and they knew and understood the consequences. And we do know that people in our movement have already suffered the consequences because they may be 100% correct on the tax code and the monetary issue, and they end up behind bars. So that is the consequence. And there may be a time coming that, say, this foreign policy gets out of hand, which I worry about all the time, because both parties endorse more militarism. And if, you know, one thing that we have found out about the incident in Georgia, even if we wanted to or had needed to, we didn't have the troops to do anything about it. We have weakened our national defense. You know what that means? Those who want to pursue the empire will reinstitute the draft. We should not ever have a draft. For those, there would be some tough decisions. There would be a lot of tough decisions to make about when to practice this. And if there is a draft, those will be very, very hard decisions, but they have had to be made before, and they could again. I have always resorted to saying, I don't like it, and I want to resist it, but I want to change, and as long as the system is available to me to run for office and to rally the troops, this is the way I will be working. How did you like Amy Allen today? She probably told you the Universal Soldier. She sang that for me because I asked her to do that. And that sends such an important message to me personally, because it talks about really the essence of decision making. And it talks about when you really resist and should you strike? Should you strike and not participate any longer? And that song makes the point that it's the universal soldier that allows the bureaucrats and the big government power mongers in Washington and around the world to exist. And it's always done. They entice you, they get young people, and they make you feel like if you don't go along, you're unpatriotic. And like the song says, for 1,000 years, there's been the universal soldier. And where would the dictators be if we didn't have the universal soldier willing to go? There would be no wars. I think of the story of the early days of World War I on Christmas Eve. When they started, they took a pause, and the Germans and the British started singing Christmas carols. And they finally got together and exchanged gifts and had a Christmas tree. And then a day or two later, the armed might of the government comes in and says, you will not have peace. You must go back to shooting and killing each other again. Two Christian nations killing each other for senseless reasons. No sense whatsoever. And it was the control of the universal soldier. And I have to confess, I have been the universal soldier too. You know, as a young man, as a doctor, I was drafted during the Cuban crisis and ended up serving, not in Vietnam, but during that era. But there were times that people were starting to resist, but I marched off and I was the universal soldier. And there's a tough decision. What we need today to replace the universal soldier is the universal champion of liberty.